This is a very clear type of photo as well. And what's interesting here is that arch there, that structure. So again, it could be natural, but I'm just looking at any points that are a little bit beyond natural. So again, here we've got what looks like little openings down the bottom. It's like camouflage from top, and you've got the side openings. Again, nothing special I can actually comment about. Here's where this one becomes very interesting. We've got quite a few right angles here and things on the cliff. Now, if you look at that area there, you've got a few tubes going left and right, processes, and then you've got that rectangular object there on that cliff structure. And this is a good picture. I've rarely caught this that well. Have a look at that, especially that area there and that rectangular object. So let's see how far I can enlarge this and stay clear. Again, you've got that blue sort of a hue around there as well. That's unusual. Let's go next picture. See if we've picked it up any clearer. That's better. Now in this picture, you'll see the areas I'm talking about. There's a little bit too much there that's square and rectangular to be for my liking. That area there specifically, you'll see a few of the tubular connections there. Everything looks very unnatural or purposely camouflaged, or just that's the way it's created. I really don't know. See where I'm looking at there? That's a perfect rectangle opening on top. I'm very surprised it's coming out that clearly. That area there, I'm just looking at a bit more. You got those bit a rounded area there, then those tubes coming down. Fantastic, isn't it? Especially that area there. This is a really great picture. You got all the colours there too, unnatural colours. The whites, the gold, the yellow, the purple. That area there is just a little bit too square for my liking. Let's go there again, have a closer look. Wow, that's a huge enlargement. So the original small picture is probably between 5,000 zoom, between 4,000 and 6,000. We've doubled it now, so that's nearly 10,000 zoom, 10,000 magnification. So that's the original. We've now doubled it, and I'm looking at especially that area there. Maybe I could catch just one frame where it's crystal clear. See what I mean? You've got that opening there and the opening there, the top shiny. You've got the square area. Here you can start seeing more of that lattice network happening in that area there. That becomes a little bit peculiar as well. I'm extremely surprised I caught this that well. Look at that. That is really, really a great image. The cliffs, the platforms, square objects, especially those tubes there, a lattice work of tubes in that wall. So obviously that picture was just in that dark area there. And I found out usually I get the best contrast and colour in these terminator line areas between the dark area behind it and the actual very bright sunlit area in front of it. Again, just keep an eye on that system there. It's looking unnatural, but there's a few too many squares and a few little unusual bits there to my liking. This gets interesting. This is a lovely picture. And see what I mean? You got that angle there, the little openings up there. They look like wonderful towers. See that square shape there? Then that goes across. Everything is very random, very haphazard, but there's some things there that are a bit too they got too many things just popping up out of the blue. It looks very advanced. If this isn't a natural and it's actually produced to camouflage on the landscape, it is spectacular. See what I'm trying to get at? That are popping up virtually. There's an opening on the side, that right angle there. Everything is very random, yet very well designed if it is designed. See what I mean? That opening there, that pillar support. There's a few too many things there for my liking. Let me try to get that area there as well. See what I mean? That straight line there, and that becomes like a perfectly straight line there. And again, we're looking at huge magnification right in there. And again, it could be due to the Olympus lens. They're used in top grade and medical equipment. And I think they kept that lens technology in their cameras. So that could explain why I'm getting these fantastic images. Again, these shapes, straight down, little thing coming out of that opening there. It looks like a crystal palace. And we're looking at 5,000 magnification. Wow, look at that. That is lovely. That is spectacular. We've got that very bright translucent area, which obviously is attached to something, I hope. We've got that area on top, and those openings on the side again. That's a very common pattern to have these openings on the side. These openings are rarely ever on the top. The top is very highly camouflaged, and you can start to see some wonderful colors in there. This is beautiful. Look at that. It's like a translucent amount of all these openings on the side. There it is again. There's an object we had before. Can't say much about this. There's a few darker areas that's curved. This is interesting because we've got a few open areas and it goes straight up. Very translucent, very bright. We've got that shiny pink area there. Again, this doesn't look like any of the things I've seen brought back from the Apollo images, which just show a desert-like environment. Look at that. That's where I'm starting to see something my eye catches straight away. That triangle shape, the dome on top, and obviously the area underneath there. If I sit back from the computer terminal further in a darker room, I can start to see little openings there on the side, and that looks like a nice big cover on top of something. It's very bright, translucent. And these objects around it look more like vegetation. And again, that spot is right there. That's a very good picture, that one. You've got that purple area around it there as well. That is very unusual, that shape. So let's bring it up step by step. Keep your eye on it as I just enlarge it and see how far I can enlarge it before I lose visualization of that object. There it is. I'll spend a bit more time on that one. That's a very good one. Obviously I've focused on it again. It's just so unusual. I had to go in. This is where you'll see it's got an opening on the side, and I've seen these openings very commonly. They're horizontal slits. There's a very white, bright dome on top, and then you've got these things around it. Again, fantastic type of shape. There's that object which was further back, purple crystalline. we've caught this object before. You've got these rectangular upright areas happening here. There's a pillar that goes down, and I've actually filmed this before, and it's very, very bright, shiny purple on top. See what I mean? You've got these larger objects coming up, and they're vertical all the way down with openings on the side. Again, I would prefer it a bit clearer. This is lovely. This looks like some sort of coral in the sea. Look at that. You've got the openings all the way down the side again. It just looks like a wonderful, huge coral, crystalline coral. That's spectacular. And again, that's full color. That's a original color. And again, I was fortunate. The shade is behind it. The very bright area is in front of it. And all my structures that I've been able to capture well are on the terminator line, where it seems to provide me the best color and contrast and lighting conditions. Anywhere else, I can't do a thing. So again, these are not telescope images. These are camera images. They're direct camera images. They haven't been reflected or altered. They've just been enlarged. This is that peculiar, wonderful shaped object. Now this is unusual because again we've got that dome on top, and it becomes like a platform there, or rectangular shape. This is wonderful. It just looks fantastic. Look at that. We'll see how far we can actually zoom in on that top area there, the dome, and still not lose much of the clarity. Wonderful pictures. I can't believe I got such clear shots. Here's where we got something which I've noticed in quite a few of the pictures. If you just focus on that area, you see a dome coming up. It looks very camouflaged, and the whole area seems to be very well caught on camera. There's some interesting right angles on that one, but that's about it. I can't make any further comments what's happening there. Some are a bit too rough and too blurred. Then a few times I'll hit jackpot and get crystal clear images. These are interesting because they seem to have the openings on the side again. This one's a good one because it provides pretty reasonable clear pictures, lovely colours, and looks translucent. That's an interesting one there. It seems to have some pillars coming down. Very lovely crystalline type of objects. Fantastic colours. See it there again? We've got the vertical drop, and all of a sudden there's openings on the side. This could be like looking at a coral in the Great Barrier Reef. It's just all sorts of wonderful shapes. Here we've got something that catches my eye again. We've got those objects that pop up straight, flat on top, and you've got the side openings again. Look at that. So obviously that's caught right in that area. Now just keep an eye on the one in the center. I'll just try and enlarge it, see how clear I can get. See what I mean? That on the side it's perfectly straight. The top is always curvy, camouflaged, and the side seems to have the openings there. Are these artificially designed objects, or that's just the natural landscape? I don't know. It is really puzzling. This shows that beautiful translucent top area. And again, that side opening that's horizontal. I'm not sure what else to think about this one. Just fantastic, shapes, fantastic colors. See what I mean? You got like a square opening there, and all of a sudden the top is very rounded. That's lovely as well. Here it becomes curved. We've seen this before. That's a different angle of it. That's the same object there. Where before we saw that white area or a dome on top, but it looks very natural here with all these curves in it. And tubes that seem to be running across it. That's that same object, or one other side view. All these honeycomb type of openings happening, honeycomb type patterns. That's an interesting object there, that opening there. Again, that crystalline look to it. Look at that. That is so shiny. Now this is spectacular because on the side you've got these horizontal openings again, and this vertical slit right there. Here we've got that horizontal opening, a cliff face there. Wonderful shiny objects. Lovely shape. I'll just enlarge it again. It's just one of those special shapes you look at and you sit back and think, what is this? What am I looking at? There it is again. I'm trying to zoom in on that object there. I think I've caught it very well. Again, I'd love that little bit of extra clarity, and I'm just even surprised I get that much. So that's probably about 10,000 magnification looking at there. Beautiful objects. This is interesting because all of a sudden we see that archway right there. It's opened. So we can zoom in again. There is that. Again, we've got all these honeycomb shapes, but then when you focus on this area, again, we've got those openings inside. Obviously, I found very, very, and that looks like a square there, and it comes down. Look at that. Look at those honeycomb shapes and all these unusual openings on the side. So we can zoom in on that object down the bottom. Look at that. Purple, greens, yellows, curves, tubes. Some that are very crystal clear, I could take the risk and try to zoom in to try to show the structures. On others, I really can't do that. Here we go. On this one, it's worth the effort. Because on this one, you'll see that thing rise up there, the openings on the side. And the shiny tops. Look at that, you've got like cliff surfaces going down vertically, always openings on the side. That's beautiful. It's a lovely image as well. Sometimes when you see these for the first time, it's like, wow, you know, you're probably the first person in the world to get these color images. I keep thinking about this one. There's too many right angles and horizontal perfect, very thin rectangular shapes there. So see 1, 2, perfect rectangle, and all of a sudden that goes up. You'll see that opening there again that's horizontal. I'll see if I can just enlarge that a bit more. Now if you actually take your head back from the computer terminal, you'll start to see those shapes in there. Again, could be accidental, but they're just very unique. Here we go. That picture. That is unique. You'll see that horizontal opening there, 2 of 3 of them parallel, and that vertical one there. That's what makes this picture very unique. And the top seems like a shiny, shiny roof on all these things. That's not that clear enough. And they're always caught again, if you look where I catch them, they're always on the terminator line, where I get just enough brightness and color. And again, spectacular. I use that word a lot because every time I see them, I just keep thinking, what geological process could have produced this? What strange patterns do I see? For instance, the openings there, right there, and that the vertical one, and then the openings down the bottom. That straight line coming down, then that opening like a cave. Sometimes they're not clear enough to make any type of. That's interesting. It's white, and the shadow there is a right angle. There's quite a few twisting tubular structures in there. Now this is interesting because we've got those vertical processes coming down there. Again, these sort of hills and translucent, lovely shiny objects, I don't see in any Apollo images when the astronauts landed. They're all sort of very gentle slopes in all their ones. I'd never see any of these shapes in any of the images from the Apollo landings. Look at that. That is spectacular. This is interesting. We've got that object there, and again we've got that vertical drop and the openings on the side. It's a very, very honeycomb type of environment. So see if I enlarge that more. I can't do it anymore. I don't have any special image clearing software. So I'm just using very basic techniques. I haven't got time or the energy. And it's given me very spectacular results. See that object there? Again, it got that shiny, square-shaped type of object, the dome on top, and all of a sudden underneath you've got an opening on the side again. Cliff face type openings. Very shiny. That one there. That one there. They're all coming from the side. That's interesting, that one there. Wow. You got all the tubes, pink tubes, very bright white, crystalline type of shapes there that come up in right angles. Tubes running across. I'll see if I can enlarge out a fraction. That's about 10,000 magnification. That is spectacular. It looks organic to a certain extent. The only word I can use is spectacular. So I'll just take it back. And when you get these shots, you just take as many clear shots as you can. That looks like a whole honeycomb, a lattice there. This is interesting. Got that opening there again, more square-like. The horizontal openings on the side. And again, the only word is spectacular. You can actually see on that. Wonderful translucent shapes, wonderful translucent colors. And you just caught it again on that terminator line. Every time you look at the photo down the bottom, these are just on the terminator line where I've got the shadow behind it and the sun exposing the area to the front of it. So I'm getting all the lovely colors without any of the brightness. The brightness throws everything off. And when I've spoken to astronomers there in Coonabarabran in Australia, which has the largest, fifth largest telescope in the world, I was told if they aim their telescope at the moon, it is so bright it just throws all their equipment off. Oh, here we've got something which I really don't know. Is that a square there, or have I superimposed the original photo which I took? It doesn't look like it. I think that's a square shape. That's an object coming up. So let me have a look at that. It isn't from my camera, is it? I never saw that before. I don't think that's a shot from my camera. Wow, that's a perfect square. Let me just think. Is that superimposed from my camera somehow? Let me go back to the other photo. Yeah, it could be accidentally that image there. You're right. It's the same. So it's a bit blurred. Yeah, okay, it's the same spot. Again, you'll see the lovely translucent honeycomb type patterns. The horizontal slit-like openings are always on the side. There's the arches, which are common on the side as well, on the pillars. But everything's very random, very haphazard. Like this here, just if you have a look at it, it goes up, the openings are on the side again, the pillars are on the side, tubes are coming across there. Everything's very natural. It could be totally unnatural, but it's just too many lovely shapes there. And look how bright that area is there. It's like crystalline. Now here's where we've got something strange. It's coming up vertically again, the round dome and the openings on the side. They're patterns which I consider unusual patterns. This here as well. That's unusual because you've got the horizontal slits sideways and the cliff goes straight up, and you've got little windows or openings around that area there. I'll see if I can just get that a bit higher. See what I mean? There's just a touch too many things there that shouldn't be natural shapes. And that's that area on top. You see that area there as well. The openings are on the side. That's the area before we caught those unusual shapes. Now this again is unusual because we've got all the openings on the side and a very shiny surface. This one just appears, again we've seen that before, that one. And can you see what I'm looking at? It just looks like a perfect rectangle right there. And that shiny top again. And that horizontal opening from the side there. What these fantastic things could be, I don't know. They're just full of colour, full of all sorts of things. Look organic rather than just a desert as they portray in the Apollo images, which only show a few haphazard rocks here and there and very gently sloping hills. These are not gently sloping. These are all sorts of shapes and crystallines and tubes and everything. This would be fantastic to explore. Here we've got those three objects we've seen before on the side, and we've got a good image this time where we see the openings a little bit clearer in this shot. You see that one there looks like a T-shape. It goes up vertically, then horizontally. You see like honeycomb little entrances all along the side of those processes, like insect type creations. Beautiful hills, all sorts of colours. This one's fascinating because we've got again the openings on the side, everything's smooth on top, and all of a sudden the whole side is opened up. There it is. There it is. So my instinct was to focus on that area. And can you see it's got that ring around it? It's raised, and then all of a sudden you've got the openings on the top there. That's a very interesting area right there. And then it runs straight down like a cliff face. I've had this area before, and we looked at the patterns there. They go straight down that one, and then horizontal that way. These seem to go over like a canopy. That one looks rectangular and folds over, and these go sideways. This is one other frame of that object we caught before. There's too many curves on this. There's too many shapes that don't look like a mountain. That one sits over that one. That one sits over that one. It's a scale effect, as though there were some sort of scales on an animal. And that one goes vertically, sideways. There's a few little pillars there. There's a right angle there. Let me see how far we can get clearly into that using zoom mode. See how that produces an arch there. It's virtually like an arch. Actually, I haven't ever seen these so enlarged, and that's where it becomes very good. Where you can see those shapes there. And they sort of don't look unnatural. That's a great shape. Here we go again. All colours of the rainbow on this one. This is a really good one. Pinks, purples, everything coming in. So the sunlight hitting it just brings up everything in these pictures. And again, we've got that dome-shaped object with a thing coming from top of it. Some are crystal clear. Some you think, wow, if I could only get a touch closer, but you're just fortunate even to get this far. Here we've got something interesting. We've got objects here that look white, as though they're on the surface, but at closer inspection, they're hilly. They're domes with openings on the side. Very camouflaged. And I think I've homed in on one further down. That looks fantastic. And all of a sudden you see these pillars on the side and the openings there. Look at that. That enlargement there has really done a job. you see those two supports and the opening on the side. It looks like wax. It looks like dried wax or honey. Wow, here we've got interesting stuff. The more you get close to this, you'll see comparisons of all the other ones. You got the pillars on the side, arches, openings on the side, and the top is shiny, shiny. Let's see if I can get a touch closer. There we go. Look at that. You see all the openings on the side. That one's interesting down there because it looks squarish, and then you've got the arches or supports down the side, and you have the opening down the side. Look at that. I don't know what could have produced that in nature. And you've got one more opening on the side there. Every object is unique, yet shows features that it could be just there due to nature, especially with the openings down the bottom and what look like supports or pillars holding the objects up. And these all unusual shapes. So from space, you wouldn't be able to see this. They're very well camouflaged. Look at that. All the openings on the side again. Here we've got a Healy surface, and again you've got those horizontal parallel slit-like openings and pillars on the side. They look more like window openings than natural formations. I've seen these similar to the cave carving, or the caves on the side of cliffs that ancient man used to live in and produce dwellings. Again, we've got this sort of image here as well. You see the straight edges, the canopies on top, and all of a sudden there's openings on the side. That one's not clear enough. Yeah, there we go. The pillar down there. Not much to see on that one, not that clear. This one shows a lot of tubes running everywhere. Now, these can't just be rocks. Look at that. They can't just be rock formations. You've got the openings again on the side, there and there. You've got wonderful tuber-like processes coming. Not one Apollo image that I've seen shows these beautiful tubes and processes and colors. Wow, that is spectacular. Look at that. All sorts of tubes and processes running. There's a large rounded object there actually. We'll try to zoom in on that one. Can't see much on that one. Look at that crystalline type of look to it. Shiny. Plastic. Some of these images are so good that I can just feel I can zoom in closer and closer. Still not up. Here's where we've got strange things happening again. You see the objects there on the side of that crystal mountain, all of a sudden it's rectangular and openings on the side. If I could just zoom in a fraction, and it just keeps that shape, and you see little openings inside. Here we've got these mountain cliff-like caves where you see the pillars and you see the openings on the side. Maybe I could just get in a bit more. There we go, right there, that whole area there. Again, they could be natural formations, but I'm just keeping my mind open about this. It is so totally unnatural in every way you just look at these pictures. Everything is unique. Not one pattern repeats anywhere. So it's more like it's a natural type of formation. They all have those openings on the side. See them there? And that one goes upright. And you have the openings on the side as well. Let's see if I can just zoom into that and get that clearer. And the tops are really shiny and reflective. See what I mean? That horizontal opening on the side there. you've got many right angles and shapes jumping up at you. So this is very good. Look at that rectangular opening there, that straight line there coming down. Again, we got the openings on the side. It looks like a huge a mountain. I hate to use the word inhabited, but you see how the openings are all around the side of it as though there's some sort of windows or something. And some are virtually rectangular and square shaped. Let me do that slowly, just bring it up. Now, stand back about 1 meter away from the computer. And you'll see gently these shapes as I'm popping it up. And there's just too many drops there. It isn't a hill, is it? A unnatural type of hill. It's got right angles, steep drops happening. Very unique, but too many little things that are a little bit unusual to be just a here we go. I haven't enlarged this before, so it's now thrilling for me to see again that dome up there. The openings on the side, it's as though it's a cliff type of dwelling. And there's in that image there, it's see how that becomes virtually a rectangle in that there, and openings. All the openings are on the side, and that is a huge tower that drops down. And you got the one that's lower down that goes around in a gentle curving shape.